On today's episode, we're going to be showing you how to make your very own Minnie Mouse ears for your next park visit. Before we get too far into the video, we want to get you to go right down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and give us a thumbs up because I'm sure you're going to be like, wow, these guys really know what they're doing, so I'm going to like their video. Hint, we don't really know what we're doing, but that means that you too can make ears, because if we did, we made all 3 of these ears, so can you. So, I know what you're thinking. You're going, I don't know how to do crafts. I am not a sewer. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I'm the same. I don't craft. But I have been able to successfully make some mini ears. So, I think what we'll do is we'll show you 2 ways to make them. One, sewing. So, you'll need a sewing machine, or you're going to have to hand stitch, which will take forever. And we'll also show you a way to do it with a glue gun as well. So, to begin, there are some things that you're going to need. Number 1, headbands. We got these off of Amazon. They're really nice. They have multiple colors. They're a satin fabric. I'll put the link below. We're in Canada, just FYI, so if you're in the States or somewhere else, I'm not sure what your Amazon has, but likely they'll have some just plain headbands. We like the colors because we can hopefully match the ears to the headbands without having to wrap the headbands. It's kind of nice. The next thing you're going to need is fabric. We got this really nice, let's see if it'll focus. There we go. Did it focus? I can't tell. Mulan fabric. We got some Beauty and the Beast fabric. We got some, oh my gosh, they're all together. Spider-Man fabric, Minnie Mouse, we have all kinds of fabric. So, you're gonna want fabric, you're gonna want headbands, you're gonna want a glue gun, because regardless of whether you sew or glue, you need a glue gun to attach your ears. You're gonna want some markers. You're gonna need a stencil. So you'll need 2 stencils. You need a stencil for your fabric, and then you need a stencil for your ear. Now, if you see, they're a different size because your fabric needs to be bigger than the part that's going to go into the ears. And a measuring tape would be helpful, preferably a fabric one. And then last but not least, you need a big old bag of stuffing. So I'll put links for those. We found, I saw just the other day, you can get a huge thing of stuffing at Walmart. Probably any craft store will have it. And then a sewing machine. Did I miss anything?
Just have scissors.
Oh, right. Scissors. Okay, pro tip, because I'm such a professional, get some fabric scissors. We started, and I tried to use our kitchen shears, which I thought were sharp, and it was a horrible disaster. They didn't cut anything. So I went to Walmart, got some fabric scissors. They came with some little snips as well for snipping your thread. Huge difference. So what we will do first is we're gonna cut the fabric out. So let's show you how to do that. Step number 1, you're going to want to take your fabric, flip it over. Oh, I almost forgot. If it has wrinkles in it, it's a good idea to run an iron over it, or you're gonna have wrinkles in your ears forever. We don't want that. Okay, so take your fabric, there's the good side, put it down, and then decide where you want to place your stencil, okay? So try to place it in a place where you're gonna get the most use out of your fabric, but you also want to make sure that you put it in a spot that's gonna make sense on your ears. So in this case, we're putting it so that Mulan is totally gonna be right in the center of the ear. So you take that out, and then you're gonna cut it out, and you're gonna leave a little bit of a piece right here. So we've already gotten some cut out for you. They've gotten wrinkled, so I'm gonna need to iron them.
That's the back, this is the front.
That's the back, this is the front. So you're probably gonna want different back, different front. So they'll go together like this. and you'll have a nice pretty one on the front, and it's slightly different on the back, and then you just need to decide how you want it to look. So we've got these cut out already, so we're gonna sew them, but I just wanna show you to leave a little bit of fabric at the bottom so that you'll be able to stuff it, and then you can cut it off and then glue it down. But we'll show you how to do that. Okay, now we sew. In order to get started with sewing, you're going to want to place your pieces together inside out. So in other words, you're going to be sewing them backwards, and then once it's done sewing, then you'll flip it inside, or you'll flip the fabric around so that the good side is facing out. Hopefully that makes sense. One thing that is helpful, if you have stick pins like this, it's going to help you keep your fabric together. And then the other thing that I think I'm going to do, because like I mentioned, I'm really not a sewer, like at all. The last thing I really sewed was a bag in high school, and we're not going to talk about how long ago that was. It was a long time though. So make sure you match up your ears nicely. It's okay that this is different. We're going to cut the majority of that off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my marker and I'm going to make some little sewing lines. You need to have enough space that it's solid, but you don't want to go too close to the edge, but you don't want to go too far into the ear either, because then your ears will be really small. So this is just going to be my guide to hopefully help me stay on track as I sew. We're going to leave this part open. We're not going to sew that. We're just going to sew around the ear here. So I'm going to put a few little pins, just a few. Here's one thing to know. You can sew right over top of that pin. You don't have to take it out while you're sewing. You can take it out after. I'm not going to do a lot. I just want a couple to keep it secure. People who are actual seamstresses are probably cringing so hard right now because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm totally guessing. That's why if I can do it, you can do it. We're all in this together. Okay. Here's the other thing. We're going to use this fabric because it's light and I have white thread in my sewing machine. I don't know how to change the bobbin. I'm going to need my mother-in-law to come help me with that because I have no clue. So for now, we do one where we can use white thread. All right, now we sew. Okay, we are ready to sew. So we're gonna take our fabric, we're gonna stick it underneath here. We're gonna, how do you put that thing down? Pro tip number 1, turn on your sewing machine. And then figure out how to put this part down. If I could figure that out, that would be great. There, I figured it out. Okay, so you're gonna wanna line it up. This right here, let's see if you can see that. That is your sewing line, okay? So my sewing line is here. I'm gonna wanna position it right underneath that, drop it down, and then just do it slowly, okay? Don't rush it. Like we're not having a race, so just do it nice and slow. Try your best to stay on your line. If you need to bring this up, to pull it, to position your fabric in the right way, then do that, okay? So keep hold of your fabric, hold it nice and tight, and go slow. Pull that out a little bit. I'm gonna try really hard to keep the fabric from pulling and wrinkling. See, look at that, right over top of that needle. Oops, I broke it. That's fantastic. So my needles are no good apparently. Okay, I'm just gonna lift it to see where my line is. I think I used the wrong color. But we're gonna try, I'm trying to keep this metal piece in line with the fabric so that we've got about, I don't know, it's just like a centimeter, 2 centimeters of space from the sewing line to the edge. okay? So I'm just lifting this up to just turn it a little bit because it's really hard to sew in a circle unless you know what you're doing. Probably it's super easy. So I'm just gonna keep doing that all the way around. It might take a couple tries to get this, and that's okay. So I would suggest when you're first starting out, use some practice fabric. Don't use your best fabric. Don't use the one that you really, really want, because if you screw it up, you're gonna be annoyed with yourself. So, and me, possibly, because I didn't warn you. So just use fabric, practice fabric at first. And keep going. The nice thing about sewing, and we'll show you when we do the glue stick version, is you have less bulk to worry about. And you also don't have to do a trim, and that I appreciate. So again, just keep lifting it as you go to adjust your ears so that they stay in the right position. The first ears I did, I went in way too far, so they're a little smaller than they should be. They're still okay, but not quite what we wanted. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there, guys. Oh shoot, you know what I forgot to do at the beginning? Okay, when you start your sew, you need to go forwards and backwards to keep it, basically to secure it. And I forgot to do that. So we're gonna just have to go in and do that. So we take that out now, just snip that. And then we can flip it around. Okay, I have one tip for you for when you're lifting the, I really should have looked up what these things are called because I have no clue. When you're lifting this piece up right here to adjust, to like move it so that you keep going in your circle, I highly recommend making sure your needle is in the fabric, because if it's up like this, out of the fabric, there's a very good chance that your lines will get crooked then because you're gonna shift it too much. So if you lift it and your needle stays in, then you should be able to keep going in the same circle. Otherwise you end up with a bad edge like this, and it'll make it kind of wonky when you flip them back out. All right, wasn't that so exciting? So if you look closely, are the lines perfect? Definitely not, but what's gonna help when we flip it around is putting this inside. You're gonna wanna go ahead and cut out a bunch of, depending on how many ears you wanna make. You need obviously 2 for each ear. If you're doing glue version, you need 4 for each ear, and we'll show you how to do that after. But that's gonna help solidify the round shape. So even if your sewing is not perfect, because let's face it, none of us are professional sewers, it's gonna help straighten it out a bit. And then when we put the stuffing in, that's gonna help as well. So Micah's gonna go ahead and flip that the right way around. Look how pretty it is. And then you can shove this in. So I suggest when you're trying to put it in, you just have to curve it a little bit like that to stick it in, and then it'll straighten it out. Now, if you sewed it like without making it too small, it should fit in there really nicely. So you just kind of can work out those edges a little bit, I think. If it's still a little bit funky, then maybe you can just take your pen or something to hopefully fix it. If you have some really bad edges and it's not gonna work, you might have to go in and adjust it. But
might also be better when you put this.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna put the stuffing in now. Okay, so you don't wanna do too much. If you do too much, then it's gonna make your cardboard warp and then it'll look a little crazy. So do a little bit on each side. Micah brought a chopstick to help shove it in, so she's gonna go ahead and do that. So just shove the stuffing in, make it even. Don't make it super lumpy. Just use small pieces to begin, because if you put too big of pieces in, you're gonna have a hard time smoothing it out, and it's just gonna look it's gonna look crazy. So as you begin to form your ear, just if you need to, just look for the spots that look kind of flat, and you're gonna wanna make sure that you even out the stuffing. Hopefully that made sense. Remember which side is your front side as well to make sure that that side looks really nice and really plump. The hardest part is to get it in these like around the edge. So just work at it until you get it the way you want it. I think sometimes just using your finger too helps. So you can kind of manipulate it a little bit better. Okay, we have finished stuffing our ears. Wait, it focuses on our faces. There we there we go. We finished stuffing our ears. You want to make sure that they are even on both sides. And now we can cut off this extra fabric, but make sure you leave enough just to be able to glue it down. So we're going to cut off just a bit of the excess. Just going to leave a little bit there. And then if you haven't plugged in your glue gun already, definitely plug in your glue gun, because now we're just gonna glue it down. Try and make it so that it's like that. And now this part's gonna be what gets glued onto the headband. Okay, so take a little bit of your glue. Be careful, it's very hot. Very, very, very hot. I'm gonna put a line here. And then we're going to carefully, ouch, ow, 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 hot.
Going out of
I
water.
got glue on my finger.
Oh.
See, don't do that. That's a bad idea. Okay, here, let me see. Maybe like, I don't know what you do to not get glue all over you, but you just want to, oh my gosh,
with a toothpick?
So messy. See if you can figure out a way to do this neater than I did, because that was a disaster. Here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna take, before you cut everything off, you're gonna take your shorter side. So this one I have a long one, and on this one I have a shorter one. I'm gonna fold it and just tuck it in like this. Okay, so you have a nice thing for gluing on. You're not dealing with all of that fuzz. And then I'm gonna take, actually, oh, I thought I know what to do. Before you snip this off, glue it down, because then you have
snip off the
a piece, and then you don't burn your fingers like I just did. Okay, so you folded that piece in, and then we take our glue and we put it nicely right on the spot that's going to be glued to the headband. And then you can pull your fabric down like that and seal it. Be careful, it's still hot even through the fabric. And then cut off your excess fabric. All right. Okay, so we've gotten that one perfect. We're gonna, I'm not sure what color ears we're gonna use, but we're gonna use our ear. We're gonna glue it on. We'll show you how to do that next. Next, we're gonna place the ears on the headband. So we've picked a peach headband to go with our color. So you're gonna put that down. You can use a guide, like if you have a pair of Disney Parks ears, you can kind of use them as a guide. So place your ears down, try and find the middle. So our headbands are not even on the bottom, so measuring isn't really gonna work. So we need to kind of eyeball where the middle is, which is right around here. So we're gonna take our ears, remember you're gonna put the front, well I guess, yeah, put the front out. Place them in the spot where you think they're gonna work. We've got a little bit of funky edges here, so we're just gonna trim. Okay, we went too high. We're taking it off. Now we have a glue problem on our headband. So we're gonna try and scrape that off a little bit. and try again. Should be able to cover some of it with our bow. So even if it's a little messy on top, hopefully we should be able to fix it with our ears and our bow. Okay, so Mike is gonna hold it. We're gonna try and make little marks at the beginning and end so that we don't do what we did last time. Yeah. And again on this side, is that right? Put this back and let's see. Just keep double checking.
Yeah, looks good.
Like that, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so try not to move it too much. Okay, does that still look good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Round 2, we can do this. Like I said, it's gonna take some practice. All right, so put your glue on, and then we're gonna stick the ears on. And then after this, we're gonna make a bow. All right, so just hold it there for a few seconds till it's nice and secure. So we're just gonna put a little more glue on to just try and make them so they don't flop around. Nobody wants their ears flopping when they're at Disney World. That's ridiculous. If you have long nails like Micah, then you have less chance of burning yourself, but yeah. I have short nails, so I burn myself. How's that? Good? Oh, look at that. Good job, Micah. Okay, Micah is now the gluer, not me, because I suck at it. The more you do this, the better they're gonna get, so. Okay, so she's just gonna add the glue on the front and the back and secure them. We'll show you when they're done. Next, we make the bow. Okay, so before you put your bow on, you wanna make sure, put them on your head, make sure that they're placed exactly where you want them. So Micah's tried them on, she's happy with them. So now we're gonna make the bow. So you're gonna need a big piece of fabric, and you obviously are gonna want to match your ears. So you're gonna pick a color that you want to make it. We have a sparkly green fabric. I think it's gonna be a little bit tricky with this one because it is see-through. So we're gonna try it and see if we need to put another layer underneath it, but we'll start with that for now. Now we're going to take our fabric for our bow and we're gonna measure it out. So we need 8 inches by 11, which if you're like me and have centimeters, we need to do conversion. So it's 20 centimeters by 27 centimeters. So we're gonna measure that out. If you have one of those like fancy measuring boards, you probably won't be watching this video because you know what you're doing. But if you have one of those, that helps, so you don't have to actually create lines, but we're gonna do this. So we're gonna go 27 by 20, 27 by 20. So we're gonna start at the bottom. We're gonna go 27. I'm just gonna make a mark here. Mark here. Then I'm gonna go up 20. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a flat surface, ruler possibly, to make our line so that our cut is straight. Guess I could have used a ruler to measure it too. That would have worked as well. So we've got our square. I don't know if you can even see that, but there is a square. We're gonna cut this out and then we'll fold it up into a bow. We're gonna just sew the edges a little bit and then we're gonna glue it onto the ears. So we've got our square cut off. Normally you don't have to do this unless you're working with sequin fabric that is really flimsy like this. We've got 2 pieces cut the same size. I'm just gonna do a quick line here to secure them together, and then we're gonna show you how to fold it, and glue it onto your headband. We have sewn our 2 pieces of fabric together. Again, this is a step that you probably won't need to take if you're just using just like a regular piece of fabric like we did with these ones. It was just 1 piece of fabric and it was a lot easier than this sequin fabric. Okay, all right, so you're gonna take your fabric, you're gonna flip it upside down. You're gonna fold this up approximately halfway, and this is also gonna go right over top. So we're just gonna put a little dab of glue here in the middle just to secure it into place. And then you're gonna do the same thing. Fold this over, put a little dab of glue. My hands are so shaky. And stick it down. Now, if you're feeling really ambitious, these little edges, we could sew them. I'm not gonna do that because I just don't want to, but you want to make a bit of a fold right here just so that you don't have a rough edge sticking out. So we're just gonna fold it over. Do you wanna do the glue?
Yes.
Put a little bit right. Okay, Lainey, just in the middle.
In a line or like a dot?
Just a dot for now, just to secure it. And then,
Do you want me to press down?
sure. Okay. And then put one right there. Good. That way you just don't have ugly edges that you're working with, and one right there. Perfect.
Okay.
That should be good. And then again on this side, we do the same thing. As you can see, those edges, if they're not perfectly straight, it doesn't matter because we're gonna fold them over. Use something like this to push it down. That works a lot better than your fingers. You don't burn your fingers off. I will have no fingerprints left by the time we're done all of these ears. All right, so now we have to fold it in again. So we're gonna fold it.
It's gonna be really thick bow.
It is gonna be thick. We're gonna fold it in half that way. You wanna meet them in the middle. Okay, so we're gonna glue it again. So put some glue,
Like
just a dot and 3 spots, kind of like we did before. There, there, and there. Because here's the thing: is the glue, once it hardens or once it dries, it gets kind of hard. So then it's a little bit hard to deal with the bow because we're gonna fold it accordion style. So this is going to become our bow. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna fold it down. Whoops. We're gonna fold it down. We're gonna flip it over. We're making an accordion. I don't know if you remember doing this when you were a kid, but we've got these little spots. We've folded it here, we've folded it here, and we've folded it here. So we're gonna put some glue again to secure it. And there. Good. And then in the middle, in the back. Yeah, nice big dab. And then just hold it. And then we're gonna make a nice, we're gonna cut out about a 1-inch piece of fabric that we're gonna wrap around to finish the bow like this. And then that part is gonna glue onto the top of the ears. That'll also help secure the bow into place because as you can see, it kind of pops up. So you absolutely need your piece that's gonna go right around there in the middle. We're gonna take our fabric.
Do you have a ruler?
See if we can find a piece that's relatively straight. It doesn't need to be super long. It only needs to be able to wrap around. So we're gonna go here. I'm just gonna eyeball it. And then we can fix it if we need to. We're gonna cut about 1 inch wide. And I don't know, just a few inches long, because we'll probably cut that off. So we're gonna take this little piece of fabric that we're gonna wrap around our ear. We're just gonna try and like put the edges over. Again, if you're feeling ambitious, you can use your sewing machine to do it. But we're not going to do that because it's a real pain, especially with the sequin fabric. So we just flattening that down. We'll do that all the way through, and then we'll wrap it around the bow. Listen, when you're done this project, you're never going to want to look at a glue gun again because it makes you crazy. It makes you absolutely crazy. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, we did it. Okay, so now it looks a little bit nicer. Micah's gonna wrap it around, make sure that that's gonna work. You're gonna wanna pull it nice and tight so that it holds it the way. If you're happy with that, then you can go ahead and glue it. So we'll start by gluing it on the bottom. So put some glue right there. Okay. Use my little marker. Try not to burn myself. Put a little glue on the top. Pull it nice and tight. All right, and then some glue right there. Good. And you can cut off the excess if you need to. Okay, so we've got a little bit of extra fabric there. We're just gonna cut that off. And you have your bow. Look, it's cute. It's coming undone. Oh no, we need more glue. Okay, if it comes undone, get more glue. I was just too excited to put the bow on. So this seam right here that we've just done, we're gonna glue that part onto the ear. So it'll be even more secure. So there's our little bow. Oh, it's pretty. Look how cute it looks.
Yay.
And then we're going to just place it where we think we're gonna want it. Right about there.
Yeah.
That looks good, hey?
Yeah.
All right, so put some glue on top, a little closer to the front. We can't really center it like we did the ears. Do you want to do this part, Micah?
No, not really.
Okay, so we will carefully stick that on there, pull out your fabric a little. And if you want, you can put like a flower, you can get some sort of little, I don't know, something. You could, you know, it's Mulan, so get maybe a sword. Just kidding. Don't get a sword, that'd be weird. And our ears are done. Now you can fiddle around with the bow to try and like make it look a little bit more even. But again, practice makes perfect. So the more you do this, the better it's gonna get. But I think those look pretty good. What do you think? Needs a little more glue?
Yep.
It's falling off. We need more glue. We need more glue. So there you have it. There are our finished ears. They look pretty good. I'm gonna do a really quick tutorial just to show you if you wanna glue them together rather than use the sewing machine. I'm gonna show you that super quick. There are lots of tutorials on how to do that. So you can always watch those for a more thorough explanation. But I'm gonna just show you really quick with fabric what exactly you do. So, Lainey, what do you think? You're good? Let's see what they look like on you. They're so pretty. Show the camera. Oh, they look so cute. I think they turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
If you want to do a glue gun version, you can absolutely do that. So like I mentioned before, you're going to need
So cute.
4.
You're gonna take it off?
You're gonna need 4 of these. Okay, so because what's gonna happen is you're gonna glue your 2 ears, you're gonna glue 2 ears together once you have the fabric over top. So I'm just gonna take, let's see, I'm just gonna take this fabric. I'm not gonna cut it out, I'm gonna show you what you would do. Okay, so you cut it out like normal with your fabric. And then what you're gonna do once you have it all cut out, just like we did earlier before we sewed it, you're gonna take your glue gun, you're gonna put it right around the edges here, just little bits at a time. You're gonna fold your pieces over like this. Okay, so pretend it's a cutout piece. You're gonna fold that over. So we'll just do a little bit, and you're gonna do that twice. You're gonna stuff it. Then you're going to do the same with the other one. You're gonna glue them together. Whoops, you're gonna glue them together. So we pretend we've got 2 pieces with fabric that are stuffed. You glue them together, and then you're gonna need to put a little edge piece on. When you're gluing them together, you don't have a nice closed seam like you do when you sew them. So you're gonna need to find some sort of edging to put around it so that it looks complete. Otherwise, you're gonna have just a really weird gap here. You're gonna glue them together really good, and then the whole rest of the process is exactly the same. So if you want a more detailed tutorial on that, let me know in the comments below. We can do a tutorial on that very specific way of doing it, but that should give you an idea of how to do it. So we hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on how to make no-sew and sew Disney Minnie Mouse ears, copycats, not the real Parks version. If you like this video, let us know in the comments below. You might be going, you guys are ridiculous, you don't know what you're doing. And that's okay. The whole point of this video was to show you anybody can make mini ears, even people who don't know what they're doing. So let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, do all the things, and we will see you on the next video. Bye!